Buenas tardes, gracias por venir. Les quiero presentar a Tim Hurson. Tim es uno de los principales consultores en el desarrollo de las habilidades creativas en el mundo. Y yo diría que ha sido uno de los pocos que han podido ser permanentes en el tiempo. Quiero presentarles a un gran amigo y a un excelente maestro, Tim Hurson. Un aplauso.
Buenas tardes. How are you? That was good, huh? Surprised some people. You know, when you read this, to the structures of creative thinking, it doesn't go together. It's creative thinking is supposed to be, you know, free and liberating. And here I am talking about the structures of creative thinking. What we're going to be doing is we will be exploring structures. And we'll be exploring how structures actually can liberate you to think more creatively. A good friend of mine who used to be the CEO of an organization called Nissan Design International, the car company's design division. His name is Jerry Hirschberg. He is Jerry Hirschberg, he's still alive. But he's not the CEO anymore, he retired. But he used to say, so these are the people who design the car. They design cars, they design children's toys, a very cool company. And he used to say that creativity is not an escape from discipline. It's an escape with discipline. And there really is, as in every other field of activity where one can become excellent, there is a structure. If you change the domain, if you talk not about the mind, not about creativity, but if you talk about sports, for example, every single person would recognize instantly that they could play a better game of golf, that they could run better, they could do yoga better. How? By learning some skills and some structures, by practicing those structures, sometimes by getting coaching. So if we know that we can do that in the physical realm, why would we have difficulty thinking that we can do that or should be able to do that in the mental realm? This is the most complicated part of our whole body. You can't learn it, they say. It's bullshit. Everybody can learn to be more creative. Everybody. Might start in a different place, might finish in a different place, but you can get better at doing this with a little bit of rehearsal, a little bit of practice, a little bit of skill development. So, that's what we're going to be talking about, is how to do that, and how to do that through structure. These 7 skills that I'm going to be talking about are, in a way, independent of the creative thinking or productive thinking process. Now, about these, help you, help anyone think more creatively. So, number 1. This is not, by the way, in the book, so don't even worry about it. And you can get, we'll send you PDFs of the slides, no problem. First, a little experiment. What I'd like you to do, find just a blank sheet of paper inside your book. You're not going to necessarily keep this. Write down 3 places or activities in your life where you get your best ideas, your most ideas. These are the places in your life where you are bubbling with ideas. It's creativity central for you. Write down 3 places and let's see what happens. So, what do you notice? What's weird about this list? What's interesting about this list? In Spanish and English, doesn't matter. Not one of them has to do with work. So, my job, Leo's job, and your job is to take the shower and put it in the water. Next one, number 2. The weakest thing is better than the strongest member. The weakest thing is better than the strongest. Make a habit habit of taking notes, you will be so much more creative just from doing this one. We tend to want to make statements. And not only do we do that, even when we ask questions, we often have useful here. And that is to ask problem questions. So it's really important to give you a great challenge. So the best kind of question is the question, what parasitical question? That is so difficult to answer that there is no answer to. That's the thing that stimulates. A good ideation session. You can divide them into thirds. Now, it's a good ideation session. And the first third of it, these are ideas that people come out with, and we've all had this experience, that are not really ideas at all. Everybody knows them. Everybody had them. They're kind of bleh. If you let your session go long enough into the second third of that thing, you're going to move away from what you already know. And those ideas will be more interesting. And if you let your session go even longer than that, you're going to get into territory where everything is a complete mystery. And when that happens, you don't have anything to fall back on. You have no grounding at all. You don't know anything about it. That's where, in most good sessions, the very, very, very best ideas, the experience of having a big, big problem. You go to bed at night, you can't solve the problem, you go to bed at night, you wake up in the morning, and the problem is solved. The creative process is actually about coming up with lots of possibilities, and then choosing the ones that will be the most useful, the most effective, the most worth exploring. And we tend, in our normal thinking style, to do both of these things at the same time. We generate ideas, and we evaluate them even before we finish expressing them. And what happens is, we human beings, we go into kind of default mode about a lot of things. And one of them is the way we judge. We tend to judge in a binary fashion. That if something is either good or it's bad. If you do that, what's going to happen with every single idea you put through this, whether you choose it in the end or not, it will be a better idea coming out this end than it was going in this end. Generative judgment. Powerful tool or structure to use. So what we're going to do is I'm going to give you an opportunity to experiment with the list-making side of this. So how are we going to do this? We've got tables more or less of 5 people. So what I'd like you to do, and it'll involve a little bit of moving around, but I hope it's not too much of a problem. I'd like you to form teams of 5 people each. And if you can crowd all around one table, that would be great. But if you're sitting back where there's no table, it's fine. As long as somebody, one of you at least, has a pad of paper that you can write on. Okay? So can you form teams of 5? Your job as a team is to generate the longest possible list of what that thing could be. What that thing could be. There's no right answer. There's no wrong answer. There's only a long list. That's the objective. Let's start with, if your table had 10 ideas or more, raise your hand. Okay, we're doing good. We're doing good. Keep your hand up. Keep your hand up. If you had 15 ideas or more, keep your hand up with 15 ideas or more. Keep your hand up with 18 ideas or more. Okay, we've got 2 tables left. How many ideas? 24. Outstanding. How many? 29? Oh, 19. Okay. Okay, so the winner here, 24 ideas. Amazing. Did anybody look at this and think it might look like a chicken's foot or something like that? Anybody? Yeah. If you did, it's very likely that once you saw it as a chicken's foot, it was kind of hard to see it as anything else. Because it kind of looks like a chicken's foot. So positive judgment, not negative, but positive judgment can be even more of a problem than negative judgment because it prevents us from seeing beyond what we've already attached to. So, defer judgment, no judgment. Build on ideas, either your own ideas or the ideas of others. go crazy, seek wild ideas, and finally, go for quantity. Whatever you can do, go for quantity. The more ideas, the better. On the other side, once you have your list, we're going to come back to this concept that I talked about earlier of generative judgment. And there are 4 principles that you can use that are going to give you a better opportunity to select good ideas. The first one, and we'll do this in detail after the break, is to define what you mean by success. You always have to have something to measure by. Is this idea going to make me more money? Is it going to bring me to market faster? Is it going to make my employees happy? Whatever it is, you got to know what it is you're aiming for. Second step is to unpack the options. And here's where you discuss stuff. Here's where you talk about the ideas. Here's where you explore inside the ideas. Because most of the ideas that we come up with in any kind of a session, they're going to be 1 word, 2 words, 3 words. So they're very superficial. So you want to reach in there and see what else is in there. What else is implied by that idea? Literally as though you have a suitcase and you're unpacking the suitcase. And then you compare what you unpack to the success criteria. And you evaluate your ideas according to those criteria. And then finally, you do what I said earlier, you judge generally. You just don't say yes or no, good or bad, in or out. What you say is, what's really great about this idea? What's really terrible about this idea? How can I improve what's great? And how can I fix what's terrible?